Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Saturday, March 4, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Toronto Raptors vs Washington Wizards. Toronto has lost 3 of their previous 4 games versus the spread. They have also lost 3 straight Austrian shillings on the road. They lost against the spread at Washington earlier this week. Washington has won 2 straight versus the spread and 4 of the last 6. They are 3-1 against the spread at home in their last 4. With no significant change since they beat Toronto earlier this week, look for similar results. Take Washington minus 1.5 points. Toronto has gone under the point total in 4 of their previous 5 games and 3 of 4 in their past 4 road games. Washington has gone under in 4 of their previous 6 games and went under in 3 of their previous 5 home games. While the Washington-Toronto matchup did go over the point total earlier this week, look for Toronto's high-ranking defense to make adjustments this time around. Toronto and Washington currently rank 21st and 26th in pace of play respectively. Most signs point to a lower scoring affair. Look for this game to go under. Detroit Pistons vs Cleveland Cavaliers. Both teams have struggled of late, with the Pistons dropping 9 of their last 10 games, while Cleveland has dropped 4 of their previous 5 entering this game. Detroit's youth movement continues to try and bear fruit, but it's going to take time for them to get up to speed. Cleveland is trying to get back on track as they have faded a bit in the race for the top spot in the Central Division, but they want to hold on to home court advantage for at least the opening round of the playoffs. The Cavaliers have a talented group, and they have handled the Pistons in all 3 meetings this season. Look for Mitchell and Garland to lead Cleveland to a season sweep as they right the ship ahead of a rematch with the Celtics Monday night. Our team pick is Cleveland Cavaliers minus 11.5 points. Cleveland is last in pace of play entering this Eastern Conference matchup with the Pistons. I expect the Cavaliers to come out ready to play after their loss at Boston, and with 3 days of rest, Mitchell and company will come out firing. Look for the Cavaliers to coast through the first few quarters and put on the clamps the rest of the way. The Cavaliers are 3rd in defensive rating, and with a ragtag group of G League level players Detroit is throwing out there, they will not have problems holding them under 105 points. Take the under in this one, in a Cleveland blowout. Houston Rockets vs San Antonio Spurs. I am going to ride with the San Antonio Spurs, and I am going to lay the points, minus 2.5, at home. The Rockets have now lost 11 games in a row, and the Spurs have looked solid in their last 2 games. They're going for their 3rd win in a row, as I see them staying hot in this one. They have a slight advantage on the offensive end of the court, as they have the 28th highest adjusted offensive rating, and they are scoring the 25th most points per game. I'm not saying either of these teams is good, but the Spurs do have the advantage. Houston is also allowing the 28th most points per game, and they have the 29th lowest adjusted defensive rating. They have continued to struggle on the defensive end of the court, as I don't see them getting enough stops in this game to cover the spread on the road. They haven't been able to stop anyone, which is why they've lost 11 games in a row. That trend will continue, and the Houston Rockets will drop another game on the road. Pick the San Antonio Spurs and lay the points, minus 2.5. San Antonio comes into this battle of the bottom feeders 7th with respect to pace of play. As a result of their increased tempo, teams are going bonkers on the offensive end, leading them to the lowest defensive rating in the NBA. They have won 2 in a row, but that has more to do with how badly Utah and Indiana played, and nothing miraculous San Antonio did. Houston will be more than willing to play at San Antonio's increased tempo, which means a ton of bad shots and more turnovers than you can find at your local bakery. This will be a poorly played game from a defensive standpoint. Take the over 231 points with confidence. Atlanta Hawks vs Miami Heat. I am going to ride with the Atlanta Hawks to cover this spread on the road, as I see their offense carrying them through this game. The Miami Heat have also lost 4 of their last 5, and they could be without Jimmy Butler in this game. I see this being a massive loss on both ends of the floor, as they won't be able to handle the Hawks if he isn't on the floor. The Atlanta Hawks are scoring the 8th most points per game, and they have the 12th highest adjusted offensive rating. The Heat won't be able to slow them down, and the Hawks will score enough points to cover this spread. They also have the 11th highest team shooting percentage, and the Heat are allowing their opponents to shoot 47.9% from the floor. This is the 19th lowest shooting percentage allowed, as Atlanta will find themselves with consistent open shots, which I see them taking advantage of. The Heat will also struggle to keep up with the Hawks, as they have the 26th highest adjusted offensive rating, and they are only scoring the least amount of points per game. The Hawks will slow them down and get the job done on the road. Pick the Atlanta Hawks to cover the spread. In the 2 games these teams have already played this season, they have averaged 219 total points per game. Dunksandthrees.com ranks Atlanta 8th in pace and Miami 28th. The over is 4-2 in the Hawks' last 6 games, of which the average score has been 247 points. So, the points tend to show up when Atlanta is on the floor. The over is also 5-2 in the last 7 Hawks games on the road. The 255 combined points in a game with the league's top defense was a strong indicator of how the Hawks like their games to play out offensively. When these 2 teams last played in January, they put up a combined 134 points, eclipsing the total in that game by 11.5 points. Expect more of that with the Hawks carrying the pace of play on the offensive end. Take the over. Philadelphia 76ers vs Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not going to stand in front of the red-hot Bucks, who are chasing the franchise record of 20 consecutive wins. The 76ers are one of the best teams in the East and rank 4th in the league in three-point percentage, 38.4%, but I'm backing Milwaukee's defense to make a difference down the stretch. These 2 foes haven't met since November when Philly beat Milwaukee 110-102 at home, and the Bucks will be fired up to get revenge. Our team pick is the Milwaukee Bucks minus 5.5 points. Defense will be the key here. The Bucks are among the top half of the league in possessions per game, yet they rank around the top 10 in opponent field goals made and, as highlighted, have found ways to make opposing offenses play stagnant. Philadelphia sits bottom 3 in the league in terms of possessions per game, and their defense has continued to force turnovers, and they rank among the best in opponent-made field goals in their own right. Our total pick is under 229.5 points. Minnesota Timberwolves vs Sacramento Kings. With both teams playing without rest, I'm backing the Kings, who continue a 4-game homestand. Sacramento is arguably a much better offensive team than Minnesota. The Kings' defense has been pretty much awful thus far, and Sacramento is still one of the most successful teams in the league this season. Minnesota and Sacramento meet for the first time since January 30, when the Kings outlasted the Timberwolves 118-111 in overtime as 1-point road underdogs. De'Aaron Fox dropped 32 points on Minnesota, but he might be on the sidelines this time around. Even if Fox doesn't suit up, the Kings have enough firepower to beat the T-Wolves. Our team pick is Sacramento Kings ATS. While the total for the Timberwolves' last 5 games has gone over, the under is the pick I am leaning towards in this game. The Kings are the highest scoring team in the league, averaging 120.9 ppg, and they have surpassed that total in winning their last 5 games. In that span they had a game of 176 points, and while they will not hit that total, they will light up the scoreboard yet again. Sacto has had defensive issues, and they will also give up a lot of points like they did, giving up 127 in their last game. This game will be a barnburner with each team scoring big, so the over is the pick. Take the over 236.5 points.